Hi Sagittarius, my name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me and for subscribing and liking and sharing these podcasts and for booking with me. I appreciate that. If you'd like a reading with me, I read all through the week. I do tarot readings and have for decades, but I also do a combination astrology and tarot reading that you can find on my website at audreyallison.com with my rates, and that would be amazing. So let's get into the month, because there's, as usual, just such a lot going on. And Jupiter, your ruling planet, made his transit last month on the 16th of July, and he's stationed in the 9th house, which is a house that you rule, Sag. So you're very comfortable with your ruling planet in your ruling house. You are loving that. You know, there's a few things that are affecting your 9th house as well, and I'll get into them. At the top of the month, we have our full moon in August on the 10th. This is 18 degrees Aquarius, affecting your 3rd house of communications and technologies and local travel. Our full moon is bringing awareness to you in this sector. Maybe you'll have to watch how you're communicating or who you're communicating with. You know what? Before the full moon, though, Saturn is going to trine Chiron on the 5th of August. Saturn is the planet of lessons and restructuring and restriction and lessons learned. A trine is a positive aspect. Chiron is the asteroid, the wounded healer. This trine is at 16 degrees, Scorpio and Pisces. This is affecting your 4th and your 12th house. 4th house of home and 12th house of inner reflection and quiet time. So you could be healing in the home, restructuring the home, and maybe making it a little more peaceful, bringing peace into the home and incorporating a lot of harmony there as well. On the 12th of August, Venus enters Leo in this 9th house, joining Jupiter. So they'll be working together, conjunct in the 9th. And Venus, actually, the sun will be in Leo as well then. So the sun, this is a lot. This is good. You know, your 9th house, you could be traveling abroad. You're going the distance if you're into travel. You have the sun, Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury on the 12th stationed in your 9th house. So that's pretty amazing. You could be communicating well with foreigners when you're abroad. You're easily understood. You are shining in the 9th house. You could actually go to school as well. The 9th house is not just travel afar, it's higher education and philosophies and religious studies or metaphysical areas and adventure. So you have a lot in store for you there, and a lot of opportunity is in this 9th house. So you could get the opportunity to travel abroad where it wouldn't cost you as much, or it'd be almost magical how this can come to you. You know, you have two of the most abundant planets in this 9th house between the sun, life force itself, and Jupiter, your ruling planet. It's hard to avoid what's about to occur there. And Jupiter will be there for 13 months, so enjoy the adventure. You'll be traveling over these next 13 months. A lot of Sagittarians will be going on adventures as well, not just your normal travel. You know, it's like your zip-lining Costa Rican travel, you know, that kind of adventure in the 9th. On the 15th, Mercury enters Virgo, and this is your 10th house of career. And from the 15th of the month on, you have your 10th house lit up. So let's get into that. Mercury, communications, is going into the 10th. Anyone interviewing for new careers, it's an excellent time to schedule that and get out your resumes and investigate online applications. Mercury in the 10th. The sun is joining Mercury there. So they're coming out of, the sun will be coming out of Leo where Jupiter is, and then everything moves into the 10th from the 9th on your solar wheel, your solar scopes. So the 10th house is going to have Mercury and the sun, and the new moon on the 25th is 2 degrees Virgo in your 10th house. New careers, new developments in social status and stature. This is amazing for those of you looking for new work. The new moon is a time to initiate beginnings. not the full moon. The full moon is the ending of things. You know, on the 10th, in the full moon, you could give notice at one job and start the new job on the 25th, on the 25th of August. I could see something like that happening. For those of you looking to give notice to a job because you have another opportunity come in, I would recommend giving your notice at the top of the month, around the full moon of the 10th, and then starting the new position on the 25th or around that area, at least from the 23rd on, when the sun is in the 10th. Now also, Venus in Leo is going to trine Uranus, who's retrograde and stationed in Aries and has been there for quite some time, about 2.5, 3 years already. So this is an exact trine between your 9th house and your 5th house. And the 5th house is creativity. And children, you know, children, and the 9th is maybe higher education for the children. A harmonious aspect with this trine could be traveling abroad for creative reasons because you're writing or you're coming up with a new idea for hotels abroad, or you're writing reviews or something creative. And it feels independent to me because of Uranus being such a rebellious entity and loving the independent streak. I feel like it's something you solely do. You could travel alone and discover something new spiritually about yourself with the 9th house. Maybe you're incorporating metaphysical practices into your life or into your children's life, because the 5th house is children as well. Or it's also romance. There could be romance abroad for all of you single people looking for love in all the wrong places. You might want to get out of the country for a little bit and see what's across the water. I'm going to pull some cards for you, and I have 2 decks that I'm using today. I'm excited about this too because I just got back from New Orleans and I picked up these. This is the new Palladini deck by David Palladini. It spoke to me at Marie Laveau's shop in the French Quarter. And I'm also using the alchemical deck that I use every month that I'm just super attached to. So this is more romantic on the outside and scientific on the inside. And this is more dark and sexy, but then medieval on the inside. So we'll get into this. I'm pulling 4 cards out of the alchemical deck for your spread. And then I'm using 1 card from the new deck because I slowly like to incorporate my new decks into my life and vice versa. I don't want to force feed anybody. Okay. Let's see what's up. I'll show you each card as I do. Oh, I just pulled this last time. This is the 4 of Swords. Contemplation, reflection, meditation. And there's a car shop behind me, so I do apologize for that. The 2 of Wands, Hermes and Aphrodite, one lover lost in the other. This is a good money-making card. This is the 8 of Coins, the moneymaker. It's 6th house. It's routine, regimen, earning a living, getting paid what you're worth, and using skill, having skill. And the 8 of Wands, sacrifice, letting something go. I feel like Sagittarians are leaving a job or leaving something behind. Maybe it's the way they're communicating in the 3rd house. But anyway, this is cutting your losses and taking the leap of faith and moving forward. I know it's easy to say, but you've got some super planetary support. And I feel, you know, these together, for those of you who are thinking about relationships, because I know your relationship sectors I haven't been talking about, they're not really hit this month. Well, you do have the trine in your romance sector, your dating, your lighthearted romance. But you don't have a lot of 7th house, you know, marriages or soulmate energy. But, you know, for those of you who are not in a relationship and who have recently broke up with someone, I feel like you're still having them on your mind. This is a good thing to let go of. Wasted energy. just really be present in the day, not the past. You have this huge future ahead of you, and a very long, life is long, okay? You gotta let it go, because this is what you need to be focusing on, your career. Your 10th house is this month. I would, you know what, for those of you who just can't let it go because you're just so attached, at least save it until next month, your thoughts of who you lost. I actually think it won't even serve you any purpose. Anyone who is not communicating with you, that's it. It's time to move on. You know, also, you see how both of these guys in these cards are lifting an instrument to do something with it? I feel like a lot of you Sagittarians have skill, and whether it's, you know, working on cars in the shop, you know, that kind of skill, or, you know, labor, hard labor, or playing instruments, using the hands, guitar, you know, physicality is what I think is up for the Sagittarians. Being active, but also using the skills that they were born with is important. Don't neglect what's innately given to you. Let me choose a card from the new Palladini deck. I love this so much. Wait till you see the colors. Ooh! Wheel of Fortune. Look at that. That is a crazy looking card in a good way. It's almost like Aztec mixed with medieval. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune. What comes up must come down. Everyone has an upswing and a downswing. However, with all of this 10th house of career from the 15th of August on, Wheel of Fortune is monies deserved for the career, the well-being, luck, Jupiter luck. For those of you Sagittarians who like to gamble, I don't want to, you know, I got a lot of heat in the last the last group of videos when I mentioned being lucky with Jupiter and you should play a lottery. I'm not suggesting people who don't have money to spend the last dollar on a lottery ticket. And by the way, I'm not suggesting you do anything that I say. This is just my forecast for horoscope mixed with the ability of tarot. Okay. You could gamble and see some benefits with this card. And on the 25th of August, with this exact trine between the 9th and the 5th house is gambling too, and sports. I would suggest if you feel lucky and you have the money to gamble, you want to do it from the 25th. On the 25th would be amazing, but from the 25th till the 31st. That's what I say with this card. Again, my name is Audrey, Alison, and I really appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like a reading with me, I'm on Facebook at Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot, and my website is audreyallison.com, so you can find me there. Thank you, Sag. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you next month. Bye.